Hey everyone, this is Josh Hollenbrand from HiTouch Business Services. I'm excited to talk to you today because we are doing a new episode of Meet the Experts. We're following up from our previous episode, which aired back in November last year, and we're talking with Dawn Renehan from Educational Insights and Learning Resources. Dawn is the Director of Sales, and we're glad to have you back, Dawn. How was your holiday?
It was great, Josh. So thank you so much for having me back. November seems like it was so long ago instead of just a month and a half. But no, off to a good start for the new year and looking forward to 2021. Glad that 2020 is in our rearview mirror.
Amen. I am too. All right, let's hop right into it. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit. We're going to just touch briefly on transition time for kids, what that is, and some ideas of some products that you guys have that can really help maybe people who are in the childcare industry or for those of us who are parents at home dealing with our own children, whether that be virtually or if we have really young children who we still just have to take care of full time. So I'd love to just hop right in and ask you, first of all, what is transition time?
Well, transition time in the core classroom is really in between lessons. And it gives the kids an opportunity to get up out of their chairs, away from their desks and move, which actually helps them in learning. So it's a short period of time. It's not long. It's sort of like a mini recess, if you will. Okay. So they get to get up, stretch, move around, have some interaction with their co-students. But now in the time of everybody doing learning at home, the parents are now the teachers, and transition time is really, it's again, going from lesson plan to lesson plan, but it gives the children a chance to maybe get away from that screen that they've been in front of for 4 or 5 hours or 3 hours, depending upon how often the teacher's able to have it. Yep. And again, start moving. I think there's a little bit more movement as they're doing at-home learning versus in the classroom. So you always want to try and find product that will help them go from one learning lesson plan to the next.
Great. And what are some things that I can do to help my children with the transition if they need to go from one activity to the next? Because I know a lot of times as parents, we're trying to do other things, but how can we kind of help facilitate with them? Because that's really important, right? I know is just a key component of social and emotional learning in general is how do we get them doing one thing to the next?
Exactly. Well, and parents are it's very challenging for parents because they are trying to do their own job as well as, oversee what their kids are doing as far as school goes. So for a parent, they want to try and find product that has open-ended type activities like sorting sets and interactive type toys or lesson games, not necessarily a game because there's always a start and stop. And if you don't have somebody else to be playing the game with your child, then it's a little bit more of a struggle to have that work for transition time. They're great as reinforcement to a certain lesson, but not for transition time. Okay. So you want to look for items such as our GeoSafari Junior Talking Globe, which is an interactive globe that helps teach geography and life science. Sorting sets are always great, sort of like our Veggie Farm sorting set. So it helps teach children sorting and color recognition and matching and patterning types of things. So there's really no start or stop. They can start wherever they like, whatever they feel most comfortable with. Yep. If the parent is able to do some self-check, that's great. But if not, that's okay too. Because the last thing we want to do is put added pressure on the parent to say, okay, they're off doing this activity without supervision from their teacher. And now I got to make sure that, I'm paying attention to what they're doing to make sure they're getting it right, because there's really no right or wrong answer, so to speak.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the open-endedness of the activity kind of fosters that space for creativity, right? And building upon what they already know and maybe practicing some things that they're in process of learning.
Exactly.
Great. Is there any amount of different types of transition time games that's ideal to have at home? Is it, I know kids pick things up and set them down pretty quickly. So is it best to have one or two of these things, or if you can have more, is it better to have a few more of them?
I think variety is the spice of life, actually. I think that If you can have different things for them to choose from, I mean, maybe that's part of the activity is they get to pick which one they want to use, versus having the same one. Because yes, then they will grow to become tired of it and say, I already did that, I don't like it. So if you can give them a choice, I think that that's always a good thing to do. So yeah.
Great. And final question. So when we're planning, these transition times into our day, is it something that you feel like, being in the educational space, that it's something that's really important that we maybe schedule into the day for, even if it's not technically there, if, maybe if there's an hour break between one class and another, normally they eat lunch, but should we try to be putting that, transition time somewhere into the schedule so that they know that, maybe at the same time every day there's going to be a little bit of space for them to be doing those activities?
I think so. I mean, they just like adults, they need some time to unwind. So if they've been sitting in front of a monitor again for 4, 5, 6 hours a day, they need that time away from that monitor. So the last thing you want to do is have them go and take up an iPad and start playing games. You want them to be able to decompress, take a breath, because that all goes back to the SEL as well, the social emotional learning that we had discussed in the past. Have a chance to say, okay, fine, my day is over. Now I get to transition basically from school to home. And if the kids are lucky enough that they can have a separate area of their home where they go to school and then maybe go to another room and do the activity in another room, that would be great as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we all need a time to unwind. I don't care how old you are.
Absolutely. Totally couldn't agree with you more, especially with all this stuff going on. So Dawn, I really want to say thank you to you and the team at Educational Insights and Learning Resources for joining us today. I will include some links to the products that you were talking about in the body of this video on our YouTube channel as soon as it's ready. And I look forward to reconvening you with you in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, you too.